So, Shubham's introduction took place before. Kushagra, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Jay. Hi, guys. I missed you guys in the morning. I had gone out for some work. Nice to see you all. It was such an amazing opportunity to talk to all of you, and this gives me a lot of happiness to connect with my undergrad batchmates after so long, and for the first time. The we always felt that Alum Connect has not always been one of the most looked after areas in undergrad colleges like NIT Trichy. And I must sincerely give credit to my friend here, Jay Bansal, who's been very, very actively organizing this since morning and has been it was his brainchild basically. So, much appreciation for Jay. Um, okay, I'll come to my introduction quickly. I am currently working in Bank of America as an analyst in debt capital markets team. I graduated from IIM Indore in 2020, doing my PGP program, that is General Management Program. Uh, Before that, I was working in Dr. Reddy's Pharmaceuticals after my NIT Trichy job. And I graduated in chemical engineering with honors in 2017. So, yeah, quite a lot of you might be thinking that why such a switch in careers from core to MBA to now completely different finance. But I'm sure by the end of the session you'll understand why. Looking forward to talking to all of you. Shubham, you can go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so I introduced myself in the morning as well. I'll go again. Uh, After graduating 2017, I joined Thorogood Associates as a consulting analyst, right? Analytics consultant, sorry. And uh, that's a management job, by the way. So there are management and core jobs, right? So that's a management job. Then I moved to Byju's as a lead analyst for the product analytics team. And this year, next week, I'm going for a PGP from Indian School of Business. So yeah, that's my journey. I will not have any insights for you for the whole MBA thing, but I will have insights for you on how to apply and how to get selected. Yeah. Kushagra, you can take the first half and explain to them your perspective of how to go about doing get selected in the CAT process and what's your experience been post MBA as well. And then we can take the questions together.
Sure. Thanks, Shubham. I mean, it will be a session, it will be something that you've already known, read, or studied about, especially those people who are preparing for MBA right now, or maybe have plans to prepare for an MBA. I'll just briefly touch upon how I went about my decision making on why I switched from a core job to a MBA degree and thereafter. So I was working in Dr. Reddy's Pharma after graduating from NIT Trichy, and it was a purely core chemical profile. I eventually realized that this is something that operations management was something that I was good at, and maybe talking to people, interacting with them, and maybe talking to the leadership was something that I wanted to pursue later as a career compared to a technical plant job. So that was my reasoning. I did not prepare for MBA while in my fourth year, so a lot of people appear as freshers and directly join an MBA college. We'll come when we do the question answer session. We will understand is it beneficial to go for an MBA as a fresher or maybe with some work experience? But having said that, I appeared for my CAT exam. So I'll just tell you this in brief, that CAT is not the only exam that you should aim for. To be very honest with you, there are exams like CAT SNAP, that is conducted for symbiosis, XAT, that is for Xavier, that is Xavier Aptitude Test, TISNET, that is Tata Institute of Social Sciences, IIFT, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, and NMAT, Narsi Monji Aptitude Test, salient one among these. These are tests which are conducted in India for doing your MBA in Indian business schools. Of course, GMAT will be covered by Shubham. He has given his GMAT, so that he'll take care of. but I'll be happy to share with you why I went ahead with all these exams. See, it is important for you guys to have an understanding of the fact that not everybody gets into an IIM. Also, not IIM is not the only thing to get into. Right, there are some other good B schools like SP Jain Institute of Management, XLRI Jamshedpur, FMS Delhi, Narsi Monj, and one should actually, I mean, have their options open. So that is one perspective I had. Uh, coming to the process, it's fairly straightforward. It looks straightforward though, but it has got a lot of different components. First is the CAT exam. So a lot of people feel that a CAT exam is the only. I mean, CAT is till when you have to work hard and then everything gets smooth. No, that's not the case actually. After your CAT exam, you get calls from these institutes, and you have to prepare for your VAT, PI, that is written ability test, and interview. Post the interview, then you get a call from these institutes, and then you get selected to whichever college you applied for. So that happened for me in 2017. I gave CAT, and in 2018 I had joined IIM Indore. So uh, touching very briefly upon the process of what happens in an MBA. So you have, in a general management program, you have all the different streams that are taught to you: marketing, operations, consulting, uh, your sales. All these different courses are offered to you: HR and organizational behavior. If you're in a general management program, you can choose and select courses as per your preference, as well as per where you want to see yourself after your MBA. Okay, now every MBA experience is different. Every institute's MBA experience is different, but the kind of learning that you get, the kind of exposure that you get, is more or less similar.
Kushagra,
Yeah.
I have a doubt in that. Like you told all those
Yeah.
things. So first thing, there are two ways you can prepare for CAT. Like you did with your job, which is much more hectic task, and Shubham knows, and we know that college is the time when we have a lot of free time and we do not realize that, and when we can do a lot of brainstorm. So can you please touch base on this key? How can they utilize their time right now? It's not necessary to prepare for CAT, but how can they find their direction if they want to go into MBA? And if they are prepared key they have to do MBA through CAT, how can they utilize their time right now? And how can they utilize their time during job? So this is one question, because after job it becomes very hectic.
Very relevant point raised here, Jay. Yes, exactly, guys. I did feel that while I started preparing for CAT during my job at Dr. Reddy's, it was it had become a little bit nightmarish at times. You on weekdays, you get whatever time you have on weekends, so you'll have to squeeze out time like anything. What we don't actually realize is, yes, that college life, we are actually relatively much more free than we think that we'll be after college. So even when you're not even when you think that having a little bit of work experience before going for an MBA is good, you should, I would really say that maybe in your third year or fourth year, it is good that you start preparing for, at least start your preparation. Also, a very relevant point here is that giving a single attempt in CAT may not be the best way to go about it. Maybe sometimes you might, there is always a scope for improvement, So when you appear for CAT as a fresher in your final year, you may score a certain percentile. You may want to improve that percentile, and then you can maybe go on for a job and give CAT again. The benefit with this is that you acquaint yourself with the examination before, you acquaint yourself with the preparation that you do for the examination, as well as when you're appearing for CAT again with a little bit of work experience. Both your work experience, and your experience of preparing for the exam factors in, and you tend to do better. Now, this was something that I realized after I gave CAT, that had I given this exam when I was in final year, when I was working, and it may have been better. So, very relevant point raised by Jay. If you're clear with the fact that you want to do MBA at a certain point of time, maybe not immediately, maybe a year or maybe a couple of years later, you can always start your preparation. It's an aptitude exam. The more you practice, the more you spend time solving these questions, the more you get better at it. So yes, you should start your preparation as early as maybe third year, or if not third year, then even fourth year, it's good. And you don't have to spend a lot of time preparing for cat. Ideally, if you spend around 6 to 8 months sincerely preparing for cat, that is sufficient enough for you to get into a good B school. This is with relevance to cat. I mean, cat and the Indian exams, the likes of XAT, NMAT, SNAP, etc. See, again, coming to those exams, you don't have to specifically prepare separately for them. Okay, XAT, ZAT, that is Xavier Aptitude Test, is one exam where you'll have to put in a little bit of a different preparation. There are some examples where you have to do a lot more preparation, but in general, if you prepare for cat, that is sufficient enough to see you through all the other exams that you appear for if you choose to.
Okay. I think just one thing. I think Shubham will have some insight on this part since he gave CAT along with his final year, and he scored good percentile. So how was his experience, and even after getting, I think so he got 97 percentile. Even after getting such percentile, why did he go for job and waited for like 3 years and 4 years now, and then going for GMAT and not for CAT? So
Yeah, so first of all, that wasn't a very good percentile as such. So it's a personal objective, right? Maybe you want to get into top 3 B schools. Maybe you are fine with other B schools as well. It's a personal thing there. And yeah, so if I would have gotten into a B school, then I might have opted to go for that instead of the job that I went for, right? But in the end, I would right now I would say personally, and I've seen other people as well, people who have gone for an MBA after 2 or 3 years of work ex, they are able to understand better, and they are able to absorb an MBA much better than people who have gone directly. It's not that they are less successful or something more successful, but your understanding of the world, your business world is going to be different. So keep that in mind when you're preparing for CAT. Then also, in terms of difficulty of preparing for CAT, you have a lot of time, especially in chemical engineering. You get a lot of free time. Your courses are not that hard. Final year especially, it's pretty chill, right? If you are not managing a lot of fests or clubs, it's gonna be a lot of free time. Right now you think you don't have free time, you go to the job and you'll find out that it's completely different ball game. You have to work for 10 hours, 9 hours minimum. If you have a good company, it's 9 hours minimum, including the lunch break or whatever. So you you have a lot of time, and if you utilize it properly, it's not a difficult thing. There are a lot of friends of mine from the college who went directly to top 3 IMs, top 6 IMs, right? And they're doing pretty well. A lot of friends who went after 1 2 3 years, they're also doing very well. So it's it's your personal choice of when you want to do. My personal suggestion is do it after 2 or 3 years.
okay, and
Shubham,
one
can
more thing.
you? Yeah, sorry.
Uh, one more thing
Shubham,
that
can you also tell them about? I mean, how you prepared for GMAT and why you think GMAT is helpful. Like, what is the difference between preparing for CAT and GMAT since you appeared for both the exams?
Yeah, so I gave CAT in my final year as well, right? So, sorry, GMAT in my final year as well. I scored very bad. That was because I wanted to get into Indian School of Business YLB program. That's when you are admitted into the school, and after 2 years of work ex, you have a direct admission secured there. So there are different programs in foreign B schools as well, right? Which you can apply for using GMAT. And that is why I had applied then as well, but I did not score quite good then, so I gave up on the idea then, right? Differences wise, I would say both are a little different, right, in terms of the psychology of why the exam is being conducted. For CAT, it's gonna be population versus you. Even if you are good, you should be in top 2,000, 3,000 people to get into a good IIM, have a chance of getting into a good IIM, not even get into a good IIM, right? And GMAT is a completely different thing. There you can take the test again and again, as in there are some limits there, but it's still better than how CAT is done once a year. And the exam is different. So depending on your performance, the questions change in real time, right? So if you answer the current question incorrectly, the next question will become easier, but you will get less points for those questions. So in the end, it's the psychology behind the exams is different, and the competition is also different. When you are applying for a foreign B school or a B school which takes in the GMAT, you have to make sure it's not just about your GMAT score. It's about your whole application, right? It's more about your position of responsibilities, your letter of recommendations, your essays. There is a lot of focus on your essays. Most of the points you gain are from the essays and LOR, and the second most point you gain are from the interview itself. And your GMAT score is just gonna get you foot in the door, and in the end it might help you break a tie, but it's not gonna help you get that admit. More brownie points to essays and interviews. But in CAT, problem is that there are a lot of people applying for CAT, right? There are around 2.5 lakh people, I guess more now, who apply for CAT every year, right? So you have to compete with all of them. That they're from all sorts of colleges, and plus if you are a male from an engineering college, your diversity, there is no diversity at all. If your GPA is less, you're screwed. If your percentage in 10th and 12th is less, you are again screwed. So you have to, right now, if your GPA is less, make sure you work hard, right? Get it at least above 8, or if it's 7, then you have to work harder in other aspects. Actually, you know what, if you have screwed up your 10th, 12th and GPA, then it's gonna be super tough for you to get into top 3 IIMs, right? Because they do not even call you for an interview. I'm just telling you that forthright right now. So it's better, uh, if you are aiming for this, you need to make sure that your 10th and 12th is sorted, and you have enough time to bring your GPA up, or you already have your GPA up. If it's above 9 in all the 3 exams, then you have a golden ticket to perform well and get that interview call, not even the admit, right? So yeah. So and coming back to the CAT point, the exam is itself tough, right? And there is a lot of ambiguity in terms of difficulty of different section. They change a lot of stuff every year, and the difficulty can be anything. And I've given it twice after college, right? I scored in the 98 and 99 percentile once, and 99 in the twice in the second attempt. And I got calls from the second set of top three B schools, not the top three, and that's why I didn't choose to go for them, because my plan was different. But uh, it's different every year. You are taking mock tests, you are scoring a lot, right? You've probably taken a time course, or you have taken some other coaching course. You're scoring a lot, but it would not matter on that day. It's probably your luck, or maybe you are just brilliant and you don't really have to work that hard. So it's a lot of luck based. But in GMAT, it's sort of different, because even if your luck on that day is bad, you will have another chance. It's costly, it's 18K per attempt, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Kushagra and Jay.
Yeah. Jay, you were saying something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Does it make any difference having job experience in your MBA placements? Because I have heard that I am Code and I'm not sure Lucknow has different profiles for experienced and freshers, at least in top
Okay. So
companies. Yeah.
I'll take this question. I mean, the thing is, when you sit for your placements in your MBA program, while you are in your MBA program, of course, there are two kind of profiles that open up for students. One is the lateral placement. Lateral placement is basically for those people who have 2 or more years of work experience. When you're in an IIM, I'm talking typically about an IIM setup. how it used to happen in IIM Indore and the likes of uh, KL, ABC, even in ABC, that it happens in the same way. So you have profiles in fields like consulting, operations management, some finance profiles which require work experience, analytics, product management profiles which require a work experience, whereas there are some profiles in sales and marketing, and some profiles in at entry level finance roles which do not require, I mean, which are not very strict about work experience, but having I mean, I'll agree with Shubham over here that having work experience definitely makes a difference when you go for an MBA, because you appreciate your subjects better, you appreciate your scope better, you know where you want to go. The crucial question that every student after joining a B school faces: what do I want to do after this? A lot of them end up choosing careers or maybe getting placed in companies where they don't find themselves fit, and then they scramble to get into other firms where they want to go. If you at the onset, like, this is something that is good with a program that is that is offered in ISB, or an MBA program which requires work experience as a mandatory requirement, is that most of the candidates are clear where they want to go. But having said that, prefer to have an open mindset where you want to see yourself after your MBA program. Uh, it is not bad to switch from one field to another depending on where your interest lies. Of course, 70% of your batch does that after graduating from an MBA. But yes, to answer Jay's question, there is a difference when it comes to placements in MBA for a work experienced candidate and a fresh. And of course, but yes, the opportunities for work experienced people are much more.
Also, you would know what you don't want to do rather than what you want to do, right? Your first job will tell you, Acha, I don't like this and I don't like that. So it's better if you have gone through some work ex to know that. Salary wise, it's the roles that are offered are mostly similar, right? After MBA as well. And But your position might be different from where you start in the firm. And 2-3 years of experience, it won't matter a lot there. It
So I
depends
saw a
on
question. Sorry.
uh, Pranav. It depends on what kind of firm you're talking about, right? Some firms don't like to hire MBAs. Some firm, if they hire MBAs, they hire them at a higher position than people without. Thing as well. Sometimes people just reach at the same position without an MBA as well. So it's just not that if you have done an MBA, you are you will be given some special preference. Some places you will be given, in some places you might not be. It's a very broad question as such. You would need to point out what your career objective is, and then we can probably answer it better from that perspective. Yeah, Kushagra, if you want to add something here.
Yeah, can I just like ask my question like in a better way? Like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
so yeah, I am asking like if like my long-term goal would be like part of some senior leadership in a senior leadership position of any firm. And I'm not like very particularly sure on what kind of firm, but I think like a good fit would be in like some industrial firm, like or a chemical product firm in the long run. And I want to know what the career progression in the sense of like how would my path be on what kind of roles I'd have to take if I graduate just as an engineer, and how would that be if I took an MBA and the tracks which would be there, like the positions in the future.
Okay. So I'll like to answer this question. Having been exactly in a position where you were, Pranav, I mean, where you're thinking of, that is joining a firm, joining a chemical firm or a chemical based firm or a products firm, and then progressing in that firm into senior leadership. Uh, See, the thing is, when you join at an entry level without an MBA degree, you are expected to utilize your knowledge of your engineering into your job. So I was recruited as a process engineer, and uh, and my role was basically to look after the plant operations. But soon you realize that you need a professional MBA program to be able to appreciate the business part of it better. So what helped me, like how MBA helped me, was to understand the firm better, to understand its business better, to understand what exactly is the contribution that I am making as an engineer to the firm. And that is exactly why you need an MBA after some time, when you're even when you're working in a chemical plant, or in a in a firm which in a manufacturing firm, let's generalize that way, to grow into senior leadership roles. Because after a certain point of time, not only will your technical knowledge be required, but also your appreciation of how the business is done. So a lot of these companies do offer executive management programs to their employees. But again, the choice is yours, if you want to do your MBA on your own, or if you want your company to sponsor it. But in both cases, having a certain understanding of your role as a chemical engineer, and then maybe progressing into a management role, can be the way to go.
So
Also, as
Kushagra,
a
what
yeah.
like will Niti Mumbai be a good option for that? Like the kind of path he's telling.
See again, Niti Mumbai. If we talk specifically about a college, Niti Mumbai
Can
is
you please
considered to be.
introduce them to Niti Mumbai? A lot of people
Okay.
don't know about it.
Yes. So NITI stands for National Institute of Technology and Industrial Engineering. Uh, it offers two programs: the management PGDM, that is postgraduate diploma in management, and so in engineering management, PGEM. So it takes from both GATE as well as CAT. I'm just telling you about the entry process. But in general, NITI is considered to be one of the best colleges in operations management. If you want to do a MBA in operations and supply chain management, NITI Mumbai is considered to be one of India's best colleges in operations and supply chain management. So if you're looking into going and progressing into this particular domain as such, supply chain and operations, you should consider NITI as a serious option.
And on the
Shubham, you can take the next question. Yeah. Yeah, Jay,
just
please go on.
adding up on the diversity point that Shubham was referring to, Niti Mumbai actually prefers engineers. It is written on their website that
No,
they will.
it's not about preference. They only take engineers.
Yeah,
They
okay,
do not
They
allow
only
any
take
other.
engineers. They only take
okay,
engineers.
okay. My bad then.
It's
Yeah, they
a
only take.
good backup in case you are facing issues because of the diversity quota in the IIMs or anywhere else, right? The next question is about
Pranav was saying something. I cut him in.
yeah, good, Pranav.
Yeah, so it's a follow-up question. So I want to know that, I mean, to progress in your career ladder, are there like certain opportunities that would be presented to you only if you have an MBA? So certain kind of roles where you could actually display your skills to the firm and be of value. So would there be like a handicap if you just go as an engineer without an MBA to certain opportunities in the firm?
Yeah, so there are two perspectives to this, right? I'll let Kushagra explain his perspective. Actually, he has already done that. If you're looking for a change in profile after your work ex, you will have to do an MBA. You can't go from a factory management job to a finance job, right? That is not possible at all without an MBA. If you probably take a CFA, clear all 3 rounds probably, then maybe right after you are put in a lot of effort for years. But an MBA enables you to do that. In my case, I am in an analytics, product analytics place, and I want to get into product management. So it is possible for me to do it without an MBA, but it's all about the long term plan, right? My aim is in the end to start a company or get into entrepreneurship, right? And without an MBA, the networking, the brand, the ideas that you can get while doing an MBA, all of that will not happen if I'm sticking to my job right now, right? I will not be able to find good co-founders. I will not be able to find good ideas, or I will not even know how to develop these ideas. And all of that, an MBA enables to do that. And I'm not saying without an MBA you can't do that as well, but it makes your life easier, and you get your contacts. You have that brand, right? If I ping someone with the ISB brand, IM brand, they are gonna probably reply to me better than just an NIT Trichy brand. NIT Trichy also has a brand, but it works only with people in NITs and some IITs, but it doesn't work as a blanket cover. But IIMs and these colleges, XLRI, all of these colleges, it works as a blanket way of getting your foot in the door. So that's a different perspective on doing an MBA. Does that answer your
Yeah.
question, Pranav? Okay, so there is one question about what does ISB look for in applications? What is the average score in GMAT to get into ISB? I am going to talk about all the foreign MBAs and ISB together here because we're looking at GMAT and not just ISB, right? So uh, uh, in any foreign MBA or an MBA where you look for where they look for a GMAT score, your overall profile will be considered. Two important and major questions that these schools are going to ask you are why are you doing an MBA, and that too right now at your career point in your career, right? Why you're doing it now and why you want to do it, and second is why you want to do it from their school, right? So you will have to figure out answers to these questions before you even start applying to these colleges. You need to figure out why you are doing an MBA. You need to be able to justify that to other people, your interviewers or your application people who are reviewing your applications. that that is what matters a lot. I will tell you a bit more about my profile and what helped me get into ISB. uh, uh, During college I was leading multiple teams. I was part of a core and core teams in a lot of places, so that helped me a lot, right? Building an overall profile where you can showcase your management skills in your undergrad, and even if with your work what you have done there apart from just your work. And obviously your work part is also very important for foreign B schools, not for CAT, right? And what you have done at your work and how you have excelled there, everything is very important. If you had attended the session on resume building for MS in core, a lot of these points are similar from there. You need to tell MS in core, MS in non-core, right? You need to be able to explain your work in your with your numbers, right? How have you made a difference where you have worked? How has your experience changed you, and how you have changed the company? It might be just a small thing, right? But you need to be able to showcase your skills, extracurricular as well as your technical or whatever work related skills. So both of these places you need to show them that you are worthy to be in their cohort. This is applicable for all B schools. For foreign MBAs, you need to have 5 years of experience. So that's a long-term thing. Then you focus right now on getting a very good job, right? And building your resume up from there. Right now, if you're in third year or fourth year, start some initiatives. Even if you think they are not going to pan out a lot, start something, become part of some team, right? You can do a lot of stuff online as well. Don't think that these things can hold you back. That would help you out a lot. And then if you are going for work for a foreign MBA, make sure you are helping the company grow, and make sure you're growing yourself as well. Also, foreign MBAs are costly, so make sure that you have that base covered there. You need to score a lot in GMAT to be able to get some kind of scholarships. You also need to have proper experience, and not just inside of work. You probably need to be part of NGOs. You have to do some outside work even while you're working, so to build your profile overall. For ISB applications, same thing comes into picture. You need to have a wholesome profile basically, not just about your score.
Uh,
Does that answer your question, Karthik, or do you guys have any follow-up? Kushal, you were saying something.
touching on upon that, very well explained by Shubham. Exactly that thing happens even in the IIMs when you join your B school. In your first term, your CV is expected to be balanced. You know, you cannot just be very good at academics or just be very good at sports or something. You have to have a balance in your profile. You have it actually pays off to be a part of clubs and committees in your undergrad, to be leading some initiative that you've taken up yourself in your work domain. If you've got if even if you're leading a mini team or a mini project in your work, make sure that there is a contribution that you can at least explain or reflect when you're sitting for an interview. The one thing that I probably both me and Shubham didn't touch upon till now, and I just want to make it brief, is right now when you're sitting in your third year or fourth year, how do you prepare? So people do it both ways. Probably they prepare on their own. or they take coaching. There is a time institute in Trichy. It was there back when we were there, and a lot of students enrolled for time program in NIT Trichy. They had classes in the campus also. So I personally, in my personal experience, I felt that taking coaching for CAT definitely helps you streamline your preparation. It kind of gives you a correct understanding of where exactly you have to focus and where are the which are your problem areas. Make sure that for CAT at least you give a lot of mock tests. So I remember giving 25 mock tests before appearing for CAT as a part of my mock test series in time, and that kind of helps you understand where exactly do you want to work on and how do you improve your percentile. So when you are competing with people who are giving that mock test, it is a good indicator of the fact that how your competition is going to look like when you're giving CAT. CAT being, as Shubham said, being a very, very competitive exam. What happens on that particular day, how your exam temperament is, how your practice is, what matters more compared to what you've been doing before that. Like, that is one thing. Also, do not take, like, if you're already in fourth year, in the audience, if somebody is already given CAT in 2020 and who may have given interviews or calls, do make sure that you give adequate amount of time and preparation for your written as well as your interview preparation, because that is equally critical. All B schools, all IIMs also have different weightages that are given to these processes. Some B schools give a lot of importance to CAT. I mean, a lot of weightage to CAT. Some institutes give a lot of weightage to your interview. IIM Indore, for that matter, gives a lot of importance to your interview and your past academic record. So make sure that your preparation is as good for these processes also as it is for CAT, because a lot of people slack off after giving CAT. So yes, and needless to stress that you should have a very balanced profile and personality. Doing really good at something and not doing anything in the other domain, in any extracurriculars, probably might land you in a little bit of difficulty when you appear for your placements and your summer placements after joining in a B school. Hope that answers. Hope that clarifies how you can go about preparing for an exam like CAT.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I would also like to add how you could prepare for GMAT, right? There are a lot of. I don't believe in coaching for GMAT because our coachings have not evolved that much for GMAT yet. I also took actually time coaching for CAT when I was in college, but for GMAT, it's better if you do an online course like from eGMAT or from some other place, right? They have comprehensive coverage of the whole curriculum, and they have mock tests as well. It's gonna be a little costly, I think, but it's similar to CAT coaching. CAT coaching also costly only actually, right? And you could start your applications for some B schools which take applications before you finish your work X for foreign as well as Indian GMAT colleges, if you want to go for those right now, and be sure that in the future you have an admit in place and no worries in your work X. GMAT.
Uh,
So what are the odds? Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
yeah, I just have one thing to say. Uh, don't ever hesitate to take any coaching. This is because once you get into ISB or any college that you want to get in, no one is going to ask how many coachings you took, and it is not even going to matter. So don't hesitate. There are places that people do not go to, like what I'm trying to say is GMAT is something I have seen people who do not do good when they are preparing themselves, and when they go to coaching, and same goes for CAT. So don't think about saving money by not taking the coaching, because you will regret much more after getting the results, that if I had taken the coaching, I might have done uh, much better than this. So just a point. I know it is exactly opposite to what Shubham said about GMAT, but uh, yeah, I have seen a lot
That's
of
what I
people.
said as well. I said go for coaching. As in, don't go for offline coaching. I said go for online coaching. That's coaching only.
Yeah. So don't ever hesitate to take any kind of coaching or
But do your due diligence before getting into any coaching, right? Take reviews from people who have already taken those courses and see how their performances have been,
yeah.
right? And think before you sign up for anything, any kind of coaching
And
in
it's
life.
really
Right?
costly for GMAT. I think actually I was also exploring. It is around 60,000 right now. I am not sure about CAT. 60,000 right now for
That would be around 48, I think.
yeah.
For cat
So
also
same.
it's the same.
Yeah. So same.
Same, I guess.
So it's really costly. It's a big decision to make. 18,000 per exam. If you do not perform good, then it will keep on piling up. So it's more than 1 lakh job. So please do your due diligence. That's necessary.
Also, I think that's enough about the prep part. Do you guys have any other questions related to that? Because these things are very subjective as well to your own aptitude level, so you can ping us and tell us your own profile, and then we can guide you specifically to what you need to do to score better. In a blanket thing, it won't make a lot of sense to you guys. Right, so this question is there from Naveen, who says, what are the odds of getting into top 3 IMs without work X, but with good 10, 12, and graduation mark? With good 10, 12 graduation, I'm assuming you have 90 plus in all three. If you are not, then those are not really good marks according to the IMs, right? And top 3 IMs, you will need to score at least 99.7 to get a call, because you're engineering male, your diversity is 0, your work X is 0. Your other three help you, but you still need to be there at 99.7 or 99.5 for, I think, B probably. But B also looks at work X, so it's probably going to be 99.7, and that basically is your odds, 99.7 percentile. After that,
Just to
this
give
is just
you
a
yeah.
call. After that, you need to showcase your essays, and you have to go through the whole process of interviews and all of that. So odds are actually lesser than that.
Just to add on to what Shubham is saying, that's exactly true. If you have a case by case reference, there are a couple of our batchmates, 2017 batchmates, who have now had 3-4 years of work experience and now joined the premier IMs A, B, C, ISB, XLRI, etc. So definitely, being a fresher, you need to either be very, very good at CAT, or maybe must have done something, you have to have something in your profile that kind of stands you out compared to other profiles which are evaluated. So yeah.
I've seen people going to ABC from college. My friends have done that. My juniors have also done that, right? You could reach out to them. If you don't know whom to reach out, you could just send me a message on LinkedIn or send me a mail, and then I will get you in touch with these people. But it's difficult. You have to score above 99.7. Without that, it's no. You won't get a call. Then you can't do anything.
Yes, definitely feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. The best thing about B schools is that we also learn how to network. So if you don't know somebody directly, you can always reach out to people you know, and we can connect you to people who will be best in position to answer your question. So yeah, this is not the
And yeah, one general thing about professional connections, message them on LinkedIn, right? You don't have to send them a connection request. You can directly message without even sending the request. And people, if you are from NIT Trichy, I never not reply to people who are from NIT Trichy. I always make it a point to reply to them. If it's late, it's late, maybe 1 or 2 days later, because I don't check LinkedIn that regularly, but I will always reply. So, and this is the feeling amongst most of your alums from your college, so you can always take help from them. You don't need to know them. In my time, we used to take help from people whom we knew before, and went for IMs, and they came back for some fest or something. but that was wrong. I could have always reached out random people on LinkedIn, and they would have helped me, because I am at that position right now and I am willing to help you. So never be shy about reaching out to people.
Totally, absolutely.
I think, Madhu, we have already shared LinkedIn profiles on the form, right? The schedule form that we had shared before. If you click on the names of the presenters, it will take you to their LinkedIn profiles.
Guys, we have another 5-10 minutes of bandwidth. So if you would want to ask anything that has not yet been covered, that would be great.
I have a question. So, what are the skill sets, and I mean, what are the skills which you generally require for someone who's a leader of a firm? Like, what is the nature of work, and what do they expect, and what does the firm expect from them? Someone who's a senior
So
position.
it depends on what firm it is, right? What company it is. If it's a manufacturing firm, you need a different kind of skill set. If it's a consulting firm, it's different. If it's a finance thing, it's different, right? But the common thing in common denominator in all of these positions, that you have to go through the grind. You have to go through all of the positions in that company to become a leader there. I can't switch from finance top management position to a operations management position in middle of my career. Right now, after an MBA, you will have a choice to select where you want to go. But once you are there, it becomes very less probable for you to shift. From consulting, you can move to other places, right? But from other places to other different domains, it's going to be a little tough, and it becomes more tougher as you move ahead in your career. And coming to a question again, skills at a top leadership position involve a lot of domains. It's not just about your niche. That is, maybe if you're in operations, you have to know everything about operations, but you would also need to know what marketing is, what finance is, accounting, analytics, product, everything you would need to know, because without that you cannot run the company or your division. You need to know, have at least the most basic idea about what marketing is. If you don't know that, you are not going to be able to run your department. So basically, every a touch of all fields of business, plus your expertise in the domain you're leading, right? And an MBA comes into the picture there. You will get the experience, you will get the learnings from an MBA. In your undergrad, you won't know what marketing is, right? You won't know what analytics is. You won't know a lot of things about finance, accounting, all of these stuff. I don't know them yet, but when I do an MBA, I will know all of these things. I will not become an expert like a CA or someone, but I will still know basic finance, and I will know how to evaluate something financially, right? So all of these things will help, and that is why most of the people do an MBA.
Okay.
I mean, just to add something more here, in a lot of B schools, including ISB, you have a case-based method of teaching in an MBA, where you learn from actual real-life examples of companies, how they have maneuvered through difficulties and challenges, and what kind of business situations they've faced. So this is the understanding that, or learning, that you draw from an MBA, where you are put into that situation. You as a participant have to think, like, what if you were the CEO of the company, and what decision you would have taken. Of course, your judgment will be very different from that of an actual CEO, but it actually starts training your mind on how to think about these things in that way. So I think that is something that you learn when you start doing an MBA program. Again, I mean, it's subjective as to which situation you're put in, but more or less you develop the skill set to handle those kind of.
Any other questions, guys?
I have a question regarding you guys touched up on the classic MBA, the 2-year program, but recently IIMs and ISB have been offering FABM or business analytics or such courses. Would you recommend taking up those courses, considering those are in the rise, and the classical MBA has in fact the return on investment is a bit lower nowadays, and it will
I
decline in the future is what
I
I
personally wouldn't go
read.
for them, right? That is my opinion, though. If you were giving me an option of doing a master's in business analytics from an IIM or ISB for that matter, I wouldn't take those. There are a lot of good institutes outside of India which offer the same courses with better opportunities,
Correct,
with a better history, right? Why would I
correct,
not go
correct.
for those? But there is one course specifically which is a combination of three or four institutes, IMC, ISI, and IIT KGP. That is for data science, I think. That is a very good course.
PGDBA.
If you get PGDBA, yes, for the name. If you can get selected for that, that is a good place to be. But don't go for these new courses which promise you like a job in 1 year or something like that. That's not gonna make a lot of sense right now. Maybe 10 years down the line, they become a better investment, but not right now.
Correct. Matlab,
Okay.
it's better you do an MS in non-code. Just
Yeah,
that.
if you want to go for those, go for an MS. It's not that costly. It's gonna cost you almost same, and you will have it from a better university with a better chance of earning potential as well. Even if you don't get the visa, you come back after 3 years. You already finished off your loan, and you can get very good jobs in India.
There's also one thing that I want to stress upon, being, I mean, having been there in the system and seen my batchmates in MBA program. This is just, I mean, this is just a little off topic, so please bear with me. uh, Often we find that we are from NIT Trichy, and there are a lot of your batchmates who will be from IITs, from Delhi University, from SRCC, etc. When you join a B school, regardless of which B school you join, trust me, the importance of being from NIT Trichy, we never feel we are from NIT Trichy when we are in NIT Trichy. But when we graduate, when we join a B school, when we start working in organizations, then that we realize that we are actually from India's best NIT, in the India's premier NIT. So always have that confidence in you. Also, please don't ever think that since you're from an NIT, you are at any disadvantage from those students who are from an IIT or from a Delhi university. You will always be made to feel that way, mostly, but never think of it that way. Trust me, you really don't realize right now the power that you wield just from the NIT Trichy brand. And trust me, NIT Trichy as a brand is much, much bigger than most of the IIMs in the country right now. So always have that confidence in yourself. This is really handy when you join the B school. I mean, in the interview process and all, you don't come to know what is the importance of NIT Trichy, but you should always bear that in mind. And also, Alma Connect is very important. This is something that B schools also teach us, that it is important for us to stay in touch with people of the same background, say maybe if from your same IIM or maybe from an IIM fraternity. But developing that with your undergrad is also equally important nowadays, because that gives you an advantage. Like today, just to give you one example, I'll just keep it short. I'll give you in one example. I was interning in one of the consultancy firms with a with another batchmate of mine. She was from IIM Ahmedabad. The only thing we had in common was NIT Trichy. And trust me, I find her to be a better person to reach out to than my own batchmates from IIM Indore right now. So uh, always have always you can always go back to NIT Trichy being your base, and trust me, you will be able to leverage your contacts and connections much better if you start believing in the fact that you're proud of being from NIT Trichy. Yeah, so it was just a little off topic, but this is something that I actually felt while doing an MBA. So
Yeah, and right now you would think you are below someone from an IIT or above someone from a local college, and all of that is immaterial. I've seen a lot of people who are doing much better than me who have come from a non-recognizable college. I have also seen people from better IITs not doing better than me. So it's all a normal curve in the outside world, right? Your college would not matter a lot, and it's all about what your skills are and what you are doing with your skills. So keep that in mind. whenever you apply for something or do something, or judge someone for that matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's a lot of gyan for a day. I think we can wrap it up. Please feel free to ping us on LinkedIn or send out a mail if needed. Jay will share our email IDs with you, your class rep, right, and he will share it with you guys.
And please fill out this feedback form that
Yeah,
I've put on
fill out the feedback form as well. It's important for us to know how we did and what we can improve for future batches and for you as well for tomorrow. So make sure you fill those.
We'll put this link in your class group also. Please be active and tell everyone to come tomorrow, because I think placement is the
Yeah,
place
that
where
is probably more
largest,
important for you guys.
right.
Jobs in core and jobs in non-core, and there's some amazing people who are taking those sessions as well. So please do join.
Guys, do keep this going and keep in touch with us. There is no better pleasure that we get by connecting with people who we know and we can relate to. And this initiative is just a start. I'm sure a couple of years down the line, we'll have a very strong Alma Connect with NIT Trichy also.
Yep. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you, everyone.